Welcome to the deep dive. We're jumping straight into a crucial element on the path to achievement: persistence.
Mm.
Our sources today zero in on why this relentless drive is, well, the real secret sauce for turning what you want into what you actually get.
Yeah,
We're going to unpack what makes it tick and how you can dial yours up.
exactly. We've talked before about setting your sights, about really knowing what you desire.
Right.
But what separates those who achieve from those who just dream is that unwavering commitment to keep pushing, especially, when the going gets tough.
Mm-hmm.
This time, we're diving deep into that power of persistence and, maybe more importantly, how you, the listener, can cultivate it in your own life.
Okay, so our material really hits home that willpower is the engine of persistence.
Yeah, the core.
Desire sets the direction, provides the fuel, right. But it's that consistent application of your will that keeps you moving forward, particularly when you're facing those inevitable bumps in the road. It's funny, isn't it? We sometimes look at incredibly successful people and think they must be these, like, cold, calculating types.
Well, what's fascinating here is that the sources suggest that label often misses the real driving force.
Sure.
Think about someone like Henry Ford,
Okay.
often portrayed as ruthless, maybe, but the material we're looking at argues his true power came from this potent blend of intense willpower and sheer persistence. It wasn't about being emotionless. It was about an unshakable determination to bring his vision to life.
It makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How many times have you or I had a fantastic idea, felt that initial surge of desire, only to let it fade when the first real challenge appeared?
Happens all the time.
Our sources really contrast this with the rare individuals, the Fords, the Carnegies, the Rockefellers, the Edisons, who just seem to possess this incredible ability to keep going.
Yeah, relentlessly pursuing their goals no matter what obstacles were thrown their way.
So what do you think sets those individuals apart? What's the core difference?
If we connect this to a fundamental level, the material offers a really strong analogy. Persistence is like carbon and steel.
Carbon and steel. Okay.
It's that seemingly small but absolutely vital ingredient that gives the metal its strength and resilience. Without it, our efforts, no matter how well-intentioned, can become brittle and, well, easily break under pressure.
So it's not just about the initial effort.
No, it's about that continuous strengthening over time, building that resilience.
And it's not like persistence operates in a vacuum, right? Our deep dive emphasizes that building any significant achievement usually involves a whole suite of principles working together.
True, 13 of them, according to the source.
But persistence seems to be the linchpin, the thing that binds all those other elements. You can have a brilliant plan, a white-hot desire, but without that stick-to-itiveness.
It all just stays in the realm of possibility, never quite becomes reality.
Mm-hmm.
And this brings a crucial point directly to our listeners. The material we're exploring actually suggests a bit of a self-test right from the beginning.
Oh, how so?
It references those initial 6 steps we've delved into previously.
Mm-hmm.
Your willingness to revisit those, to actively engage with those instructions rather than just passively reading them, is presented as an early indicator of your inherent level of persistence. Are you the type who just consumes information, or are you ready to roll up your sleeves and apply it?
That's a really insightful way to frame it, and the material doesn't pull any punches, stating that a lack of persistence is a primary reason why so many people fall short of their goals.
It's blunt, yeah.
But here's the encouraging part. It's presented not as a fixed trait, but as a weakness that can be overcome.
Right, it's malleable.
The key, as we keep coming back to, is the intensity of your desire. If that want is strong enough, you'll naturally find more motivation to push through those tough times.
Precisely. Think of desires as the pilot light. A weak flame isn't going to generate much heat or power.
Makes sense.
The source material directly links weak desires to weak results. So if you find yourself struggling with persistence, the advice isn't just to, grit your teeth and bear it.
No.
It's to look deeper at what truly drives you, to strengthen those underlying motivations. What's the real why behind your goals? Dig into that.
And it's a continuous loop, isn't it? The material encourages you to keep digging into all these ideas and then, crucially, to go back and revisit those initial 6 steps with fresh eyes.
Yeah, that review is key.
Your eagerness to do that homework, that extra bit of effort, will really reveal the true strength of your desire for financial success. It's about cultivating that money consciousness, that mental preparedness to not just want wealth, but to actively attract it.
What's fascinating here is the concept that opportunities, that fortunes tend to gravitate towards minds that are ready for them, almost like a magnetic pull.
Like water flowing downhill.
Exactly. The material frames itself as providing the very stimuli needed to align your mental state, to get your mind in tune with the vibrations of your desires. It's about mental preparation meeting opportunity.
So if you're listening to this and thinking, okay, persistence is definitely an area I could improve, the material offers some very specific pathways.
It does. It directs you towards the sections on power, the mastermind group, autosuggestion, and the subconscious mind as key tools for actively building this resilience.
So it's not passive.
Not at all. It requires conscious effort and engagement with these principles.
That mastermind group idea seems particularly powerful for persistence.
It really stands out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals who share your ambition and offer encouragement, that creates a strong external support system.
Accountability, too, I imagine.
Absolutely. Shared momentum to keep you going when your own resolve might waver.
And the material really emphasizes the constant activity of our subconscious mind, working whether we're consciously aware of it or not.
Right, it never sleeps.
So sporadic bursts of effort aren't enough. It's about consistent, repeated application of these principles until they become deeply ingrained habits.
Until that desired outcome, that money consciousness, is firmly planted in your subconscious.
It makes sense. Think about it this way. A lack of drive, a sort of acceptance of the status quo, often develops without any conscious effort. It's the path of least resistance.
Yeah, it's the default for many.
But cultivating a powerful money consciousness, that active, persistent mindset geared towards success, requires deliberate and ongoing effort.
And the material is clear. Without that persistent application, defeat becomes almost inevitable. But with it, the potential for victory is always there.
I really liked the analogy used comparing it to waking up from a nightmare.
Oh yeah, that was vivid.
You feel trapped, paralyzed by fear, but through a conscious act of will, a persistent effort, you slowly regain control bit by bit until you finally break free. It's that same persistent willpower that can help us break free from mental inertia and the fear of failure.
That's a very relatable image, and the material encourages a similar approach to building persistence. You don't have to suddenly become a superhero of willpower overnight.
12 steps.
Exactly. Start with small, consistent steps. The key is to keep moving forward, even if the initial pace feels slow. Don't let that initial lack of rapid progress discourage you.
It's the consistency that matters.
The consistent effort, the persistence, that's what builds momentum over time.
And looping back to that mastermind concept, the material points out the value of having at least one person in your corner who actively supports your efforts to develop persistence.
Right, that support system again. It also makes an interesting observation that sometimes that deep-seated persistence can be born out of sheer necessity.
Like when life throws you into circumstances where giving up simply isn't an option.
Precisely. Sometimes survival itself breeds persistence.
But the core message here is stark but important. There's no real substitute for persistence.
None. No other talent or advantage can truly replace that unwavering commitment to see things through.
Keeping that in mind, especially during those times when progress feels slow and difficult, should serve as a powerful reminder to keep going.
Definitely. It's almost as if those who have truly cultivated persistence have developed this internal insurance policy against failure.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. They might stumble, they might even fall.
But they consistently find a way to get back on their feet. And the material even introduces this intriguing idea of a hidden guide, suggesting that we might be tested through discouraging experiences.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
It's interesting, the idea that challenges aren't necessarily meant to defeat us, but maybe to test the strength of our resolve.
Exactly. Those who persevere, who learn from their setbacks instead of being defined by them, are the ones who ultimately achieve significant breakthroughs.
And the reward for that persistence isn't just reaching the initial goal, is it?
No, it's presented as something much more profound. The material states that with persistent effort, you gain this deep understanding that every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent advantage.
Finding the silver lining, essentially.
It's about reframing those setbacks, seeing them not as dead ends, but as opportunities for learning and growth. That shift in perspective, that ability to find the opportunity in adversity, is a powerful outcome of cultivated persistence.
And while some individuals seem to naturally possess this unwavering determination, never viewing defeat as final.
The majority, unfortunately, tend to give up after the first few stumbles. It's human nature, perhaps.
But the material highlights this almost unseen force, this silent but irresistible power that comes to the aid of those who keep fighting despite facing discouragement.
And that power, in its essence, is simply persistence itself. It generates its own kind of energy.
This leads us to a really vivid metaphor in the material: Broadway.
Ah, yes.
It's described as both the graveyard of dead hopes and the front porch of opportunity. Think about that image.
Is powerful. Countless individuals flock there with dreams of making it big.
But only those who absolutely refuse to throw in the towel ever truly achieve lasting success. It's a crucible where persistence is the ultimate differentiator.
And the key to conquering your personal Broadway, whatever that challenging arena might be for you, is inextricably linked to that one core quality: persistence.
To really drive this point home, the material then provides some compelling real-world examples of individuals who embodied this principle.
Yeah, the stories really bring it to life.
First up is the inspiring story of Fannie Hurst, aiming to be a successful writer on Broadway. It's almost unbelievable to hear that she faced 36 rejection slips from the Saturday Evening Post before she finally had a story accepted. 36.
Imagine, how many people would have given up long before that? That level of initial rejection would be enough to completely deflate most people's ambitions.
Seriously. But Fannie Hurst was different. For 4 long years, she kept writing, kept submitting.
Fueled by an unwavering belief in her talent and a relentless determination to succeed. That's true grit in action.
And the payoff was extraordinary. Once she finally broke through that barrier, the floodgates opened. Publishers were eager for her work, and then Hollywood came calling.
Didn't her novel Great Laughter get like a massive movie deal before publication?
Yeah, reportedly $100,000 for the movie rights, before it even hit the shelves. That's a powerful testament to the rewards that unwavering persistence can bring.
Fannie Hurst's journey perfectly illustrates how significant wealth and achievement are so often preceded by the development of that crucial quality of persistence.
That Broadway metaphor again.
It really resonates here. It might offer you a basic level of sustenance, a chance to stay in the game, but to achieve those truly exceptional rewards, it demands that you prove your staying power, your refusal to quit.
Then we have the story of Kate Smith, the singer.
Right.
For years, she sang without any payment, just seeking any opportunity to get behind a microphone and share her voice.
It's like Broadway was testing her, saying, prove you really want this.
And she did. She kept performing, kept putting herself out there until finally Broadway seemed to acknowledge her unwavering dedication.
It was like they finally said, okay, you're not going anywhere. What's it going to take?
And her price, as the material notes, was substantial. A single week's salary exceeding what many people earn in an entire year.
Wow. And the crucial point the material makes with Kate Smith's story is that there were likely countless other singers with comparable talent
Yeah.
who either gave up along the way or are still waiting for their big break. The defining factor for Kate Smith was that relentless persistence, that refusal to be discouraged until she achieved recognition.
So we've seen these powerful illustrations, and now our deep dive into the sources provides us with a clear and encouraging message. Persistence isn't some magical innate trait.
No, it's a state of mind,
Yeah.
and therefore it can be cultivated.
Right. And it lays out 8 specific foundations upon which the state of mind is built. Let's break those down.
Absolutely. These 8 causes offer a really practical framework for understanding and building persistence in your own life. First, we have definiteness of purpose.
Knowing exactly what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It provides a powerful internal compass, a strong motive that drives you through challenges.
Okay, makes sense. Second is desire.
As we've discussed, that intense, burning desire for your goal acts as the fuel for your persistence.
Yeah.
It makes it much easier to keep going when things get tough. It's that emotional connection that keeps you invested.
Right. Third is self-reliance. Believing in your own ability.
Believing in your ability to execute your plans and achieve your goals is crucial. This self-confidence, as the material suggests, can be actively developed through techniques like autosuggestion.
Fourth on the list is definiteness of plans. Having a roadmap.
Even if your initial strategies aren't perfect, having clear, organized plans provides direction and keeps you moving forward. It's about having a path to follow, even if you need to adjust it along the way.
Fifth is accurate knowledge. Knowing your stuff.
Basing your plans on sound information and a realistic understanding of your field builds confidence and strengthens your resolve. Guesswork and uncertainty, on the other hand, can quickly erode your persistence.
Sixth is cooperation. That mastermind idea again.
Exactly. The support, understanding, and harmonious collaboration with others creates a positive environment that fosters and sustains persistence. Having that network of encouragement is invaluable.
Seventh is willpower, using that mental muscle.
The very act of consistently focusing your thoughts on developing and executing plans to achieve your definite purpose strengthens your willpower, which in turn fuels your ability to persist. It's a muscle that gets stronger with use.
And finally, eighth is habit, making it automatic.
Persistence is the direct result of repeated action. The more you consciously choose to persevere through challenges, the more it becomes an ingrained part of your behavior. The material even notes how consistently acting with courage can eventually overcome fear.
Wow, that's quite a list.
This detailed breakdown really emphasizes that persistence isn't some abstract concept. It's built on a solid foundation of clear goals, strong motivation, self-belief, and consistent effort.
And the material then prompts you, the listener, to take a good look at yourself.
Yes, to honestly evaluate where you stand in relation to these 8 factors. Identifying any weaknesses in these areas is the first step towards strengthening your overall persistence.
And that brings us to a really important section of our sources, the symptoms of lack of persistence.
Ah, yes. This list is incredibly valuable
Why is that?
because it helps you pinpoint the specific attitudes and behaviors that can sabotage your efforts to achieve significant success. These aren't just superficial indicators. They often point to deeper, more ingrained patterns of thinking.
Okay, let's go through them.
It's a comprehensive list, but each point is worth careful consideration. It starts with failure to clearly define what one wants. If you don't know your target, it's impossible to maintain a consistent course.
Makes sense. Then there's procrastination. We all know that one.
That universal tendency to put things off, often fueled by underlying fears or a lack of clear direction.
We also see lack of interest in acquiring specialized knowledge.
Which is crucial for developing effective plans and overcoming obstacles. Then there's indecision, that habit of avoiding commitment, always leaving your options open. That's a big one.
And the tendency to rely on alibis instead of actively seeking solutions, making excuses.
Exactly. Excuses might make you feel better in the short term, but they don't move you closer to your goals. Then there's the subtle but dangerous trap of self-satisfaction.
Getting too comfortable.
Yeah, which can stifle your ambition and prevent you from pushing beyond your current comfort zone.
Indifference and a willingness to compromise too easily on your goals can also derail your efforts.
It's about knowing what's truly important and not settling for less. Similarly, the habit of blaming others for your shortcomings and passively accepting unfavorable circumstances.
That takes away your power.
It takes away your sense of control and undermines your persistence. A fundamental issue is also weakness of desire.
Stemming from a lack of compelling reasons to pursue your goals. If the why isn't strong enough.
The how will always feel too difficult. And the willingness to quit at the first sign of defeat, often rooted in those basic fears we've discussed before, is a major obstacle.
So many people stumble there.
It prevents so many from reaching their potential. The list continues with the lack of written, organized plans.
Which makes it easy to lose focus and get sidetracked.
And neglecting to act on promising ideas or seize available opportunities is another common symptom. Letting good chances slip by.
There's a crucial distinction made between wishing instead of willing.
Yes, wishing is passive, a vague hope. Willing, on the other hand, involves active intent, a firm decision backed by consistent effort.
Like compromising with poverty, accepting a limited financial reality instead of striving for abundance.
That reflects a lack of strong ambition. A general absence of ambition to achieve anything significant in life is another clear indicator.
And the tendency to seek shortcuts to riches without offering equivalent value, like gambling or get-rich-quick schemes.
That reveals a misunderstanding of the principles of lasting success. You have to provide value.
Finally, and perhaps most powerfully, is the fear of criticism.
The material places this last but emphasizes its profound impact, often operating subconsciously to prevent people from even starting.
Just worrying about what others might think?
Exactly. Worrying about potential judgment can stop you before you even formulate plans or take action.
And the deep dive really unpacks how damaging this fear of criticism can be. It gives examples.
Right, like staying in unfulfilling relationships, neglecting further education or career advancement, allowing family members to dictate your life choices.
Or avoiding potentially rewarding business ventures.
Yes, all driven by the underlying fear of what others might say or think. It's pervasive.
The personal story shared in the material about Andrew Carnegie's suggestion is quite revealing too.
Yeah, the idea of dedicating 20 years to organizing a philosophy of achievement. The author's initial reaction was an overwhelming wave of doubts and excuses.
All stemming from that fear of criticism.
Exactly. It really highlights how many potentially great ideas and ambitions never see the light of day, because this fear paralyzes us before we even begin.
It's so true. We often hear people talk about getting that lucky break that led to their material success.
The big break narrative.
And while there might be an element of chance involved sometimes, relying solely on luck is often a recipe for disappointment.
Definitely. The real power lies in having the knowledge, the skills, and, crucially, the unwavering persistence to create your own breaks.
The material beautifully illustrates this with the later-in-life success stories of W.C. Fields, Marie Dressler, and Eddie Cantor.
Yeah, all three faced significant financial hardships and career downturns, periods where many might have given up entirely.
But they each staged remarkable comebacks through sheer persistence and a refusal to let past setbacks define their future.
Their eventual success wasn't just a stroke of luck. It was a direct result of their enduring determination. They made their own breaks.
Exactly. The material reinforces that the most dependable breaks are the ones you forge yourself through the consistent application of persistence.
And it all begins with having a clear and compelling purpose.
Which brings us back to a fundamental observation. Most people lack that clear definition of what they truly want.
It's surprising, but true. The material suggests that if you were to ask 100 individuals about their greatest desires, the vast majority wouldn't be able to give you a specific, well-defined answer.
Vague wishes don't cut it.
No. Riches, and indeed any significant achievement, don't materialize in response to vague wishes. They require definite plans, fueled by strong desires, and that all-important, unwavering persistence.
So how do we actually go about developing this essential habit of persistence? Our deep dive into the sources provides 4 simple yet incredibly powerful steps.
And these aren't abstract theories, they're practical actions you can start taking today.
Okay, step 1.
The first crucial step is to cultivate a definite purpose that is fueled by a burning desire for its realization. That intense emotional drive is the engine. Got it. Step 2.
Second, you need to develop a definite plan, and crucially, to put that plan into continuous action. It's not enough to just have a strategy, you need to be actively working on it.
Always moving forward, adapting as needed.
Right. Third, you must develop a mind that is consciously closed to all negative influences and discouraging suggestions.
Protect your headspace from others and yourself.
Exactly. Protecting your mental state is vital for maintaining persistence.
And finally, the fourth step.
Cultivate a supportive alliance with one or more individuals who will actively encourage you to follow through with both your plan and your purpose. That mastermind principle again.
External reinforcement and accountability.
Yes. The material emphasizes that these 4 steps are foundational for achieving success in any area of your life. And the entire framework of principles discussed in our sources is designed to help you internalize these steps.
To make them ingrained habits that guide your actions.
Precisely.
The rewards for consistently applying these 4 steps are significant and far-reaching, aren't they? Absolutely. They empower you to take control of your economic destiny, foster independent thought and action, and pave the way for achieving your goals.
Whether that's wealth, influence, recognition, or personal fulfillment.
They are, in essence, the keys to transforming your aspirations into tangible realities and overcoming those universal challenges of fear and discouragement.
Ultimately, the material concludes this section by highlighting the most profound reward of cultivating persistence.
Which is the power to shape your own destiny, to actively pursue and achieve what you truly desire from life, rather than being passively carried along by circumstances.
Then, the deep dive takes a fascinating turn with the story of Wallis Simpson.
Ah, yes. An interesting case study.
The material proposes that her seemingly improbable love story wasn't just a matter of chance, but rather the result of a strong, clearly defined desire and a persistent, strategic effort.
It connects this back to the fundamental principle of knowing exactly what you want and having the unwavering courage to pursue it.
Echoing that wisdom, to thine own self be true.
Wallis Simpson's journey from a relatively obscure background, navigating significant social barriers, to ultimately capture the heart of the King of England.
It's presented as a compelling case study in applied persistence and unwavering self-determination.
The material suggests that anyone striving to achieve a seemingly insurmountable goal could glean valuable insights from examining her approach.
It even directly addresses women who might feel they face inherent disadvantages.
Right, encouraging them to carefully consider Wallis Simpson's life as an example of a woman who achieved something extraordinary against considerable odds and later in life too.
This then naturally leads to the pivotal event of King Edward VIII's abdication.
A huge historical moment. The material raises the thought-provoking question of whether the price he paid for love, relinquishing the throne.
Was it too high?
Ultimately, only he could truly answer that personal and complex question. It offers a brief glimpse into his life of immense privilege and inherent duty.
While also hinting at the potential constraints and lack of personal freedom that came with his royal position.
The underlying suggestion here is that despite his outward blessings and societal status, King Edward experienced a deep inner longing, a void that perhaps only genuine love could fill.
A powerful desire for that great universal emotion, something that transcended his royal obligations.
And when he encountered a kindred spirit in Wallace Simpson, someone with whom he felt a profound connection and who also yearned for that same level of deep emotional intimacy,
He recognized it.
and made the courageous, albeit controversial decision to prioritize love above all else, even his crown, facing significant public scrutiny and disapproval in the process.
The material even points out that King Edward could have chosen a more conventional path, perhaps engaging in discreet clandestine relationships.
As was somewhat common in royal circles, yes, but instead he opted for an open and honest declaration of his love.
Demonstrating a certain integrity in his pursuit of what he truly desired, even at immense personal cost.
There's an interesting moment of speculation in the material, too, pondering whether a greater prevalence of rulers with such human-heartedness and genuine honesty might have fostered a more peaceful Europe.
Interesting thought. And the inclusion of Stuart Austin Weir's heartfelt toast to King Edward and Wallace Simpson.
That beautifully encapsulates the profound value of inner convictions and the enduring power of love.
So the discussion of Wallace Simpson and King Edward ultimately underscores the remarkable persistence in seeking and ultimately claiming what the material frames as one of life's greatest rewards.
Their story, despite its complexities and differing interpretations, serves as a powerful, if unconventional, illustration of what unwavering pursuit of deeply held desires can lead to.
This then opens up some more profound, almost philosophical questions about the very nature of persistence.
Yeah, does it unlock some kind of spiritual, mental, or even biochemical process that allows persistent individuals to tap into extraordinary assistance?
Is there an infinite intelligence that seems to favor those who demonstrate unwavering resolve in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds? Big questions.
Very big. The material revisits the compelling examples of Henry Ford and Thomas Edison.
Right, both individuals who achieve extraordinary levels of success despite starting from relatively humble beginnings.
Their accomplishments are attributed primarily to that relentless quality of persistence, especially notable in Edison's case, given his limited formal schooling.
The author of our source material, having analyzed both Ford and Edison over an extended period,
Confirms that persistence stood out as the most prominent shared characteristic behind their monumental successes. It wasn't just about their talent or their initial ideas, it was their refusal to give up.
this idea is then broadened to encompass a wider range of influential figures throughout history, prophets, philosophers.
Individuals seen as miracle workers, religious leaders. The suggestion is that a combination of unwavering persistence, focused effort directed towards a clearly defined purpose, was also fundamental to their impactful lives and enduring legacies.
And the deep dive specifically highlights the story of Muhammad as a particularly compelling example of the transformative power of persistence.
Recommending Esad Bey's biography for a deeper understanding. The included review of that biography by Thomas Sucru outlines Muhammad's initial experiences,
Rejection, ridicule, even banishment.
followed by his remarkable ascent to power and the rapid expansion of Islam. The review attributes his success not just to his vision, but also to the power of words, the efficacy of prayer, and man's kinship with God, alongside his unwavering determination.
It touches upon the revolutionary nature of the teachings within the Quran, too, like equality and dismantling idol worship.
Which understandably led to significant initial opposition. It's also striking to note the unexpected military success of his movement despite its modest beginnings.
And his initial efforts to invite both Jews and Christians to unite under a shared faith.
Yes, even contrasting his approach to warfare in Jerusalem with the later actions of the Crusaders. It's a powerful example of how persistence in the face of adversity can reshape the world.
So as we bring this deep dive to a close, it's clear that our exploration of the material has consistently underscored the absolutely central role of persistence in achieving anything truly significant.
Absolutely. To bring it all together, the core message of this deep dive is crystal clear. Persistence isn't just a nice-to-have quality. It's an essential ingredient.
A vital catalyst for transforming your deepest desires into tangible realities and achieving lasting success in any endeavor you pursue.
And it's crucial to remember that persistence isn't some fixed characteristic you're born with. It's a state of mind that can be actively cultivated and strengthened.
Built on that solid foundation. Clear purpose, burning desire, self-belief, plans, knowledge, cooperation, willpower.
And ultimately, by making persistence an ingrained habit.
Make sure you take some time to reflect on those symptoms of lack of persistence we discussed. Honestly, assess yourself against that list.
Identify any of those tendencies in your own life. Recognizing these potential pitfalls is the crucial first step towards actively overcoming them and building greater resilience.
Developing persistence is an empowering process. It gives you the ability to create your own breaks, to push through obstacles that might initially seem insurmountable.
As beautifully illustrated by the lives of Fannie Hurst, Kate Smith, W.C. Fields, Marie Dressler, Eddie Cantor, Wallace Simpson, King Edward, and even the historical impact of someone like Muhammad.
And so, as we conclude this deep dive, I encourage you to really consider the unwavering persistence demonstrated by the individuals we've discussed. What are your most important goals? What small, consistent actions can you commit to taking today to move yourself closer to achieving them?
Good questions to ponder.
What's your personal Broadway that you're striving to conquer, and are you truly prepared to keep going, to keep striving until you finally succeed?
That is the enduring power and the ultimate promise of persistence.